Markets bounced sharply on Wednesday when President Trump delayed imposing crippling tariffs on U.S. trading partners, with the exception of China. But the outlook for the global economy and most global asset prices is still very worrying. Here I'll discuss one risk that could cause an immediate global crisis. China may soon deal a heavy blow to the United States, either economic, military, or both. This video will explain how China could inflict an extraordinary amount of pain on the U.S. during the days and weeks ahead. As I've described in a recent video, the strategy of the Trump administration appears to be following a blueprint laid out in a recent paper by Stephen Moran, the chairman of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. The paper is titled A User's Guide to Restructuring the Global Trading System. I can assure you that every policymaker in China who matters has read that paper. I would summarize the three-step strategy presented in that paper and the objectives of that strategy as follows. The United States should, first, impose very high tariffs on all the United States trading partners. Second, threaten to withdraw the U.S. security umbrella from any country that dares to retaliate against the U.S. tariffs. And then third, force an intimidated world to accept a large devaluation of the dollar as part of a so-called Mar-a-Lago Accord. The objectives of this radically aggressive policy would be to reindustrialize the United States and to create a global tariff wall around China that would wreck China's economy and eliminate that country's growing threat to U.S. national security. The first two steps of that strategy have now been carried out. President Trump has made it quite clear that he is prepared to renege on the United States treaty obligations to defend its NATO allies against Russia if they don't submit to his demands. He has also announced extremely high tariffs on all the countries of the world in what has been described as worse than the worst-case scenario. Dollar devaluation and the establishment of a global trading bloc that excludes China will come next if the president continues to follow Moran's playbook. Trump has imposed a 125% tariff on China. If Moran's paper is the blueprint for trade strategy, one of the things that the U.S. is now demanding in its trade negotiations with all other countries is that they join the U.S. in imposing high tariffs on Chinese goods to create a global tariff wall around China. China's leadership must view the imposition of 125% tariffs and the U.S. attempt to pressure other countries to follow suit as an act of war and an existential threat to the Chinese Communist Party. They are likely to react accordingly. They have very little left to lose. Therefore, I fear that China may soon deal a very heavy blow to the United States. Investors would be foolish to ignore this possibility. There are countless things China could do that could drive U.S. stock prices down another 20%, 30%, or even more. And there are worse things than a stock market crash. Let me mention just a few of them, beginning with economic retaliation.